Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order, please, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming. Roll call, Mr. Lundberg?
Holland.
Yes.
Odie is absent. Saxer.
Yes.
Scott. Yes. Bell is absent.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agendas presented, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Reduced meals are receiving meals at no cost. We are picking up that cost. So that's continuing for the 25-26 school year. A little update on Berkman Valley Elementary. The 26-27 elementary boundary line is on for approval here this evening. You've seen that previously. It's pretty standard, pretty straightforward change that's necessary with bringing Berkman Valley on. Impacted students and families, they will be communicated with specifically via letter. So right now, ultimately, we're assembling our lists from each of the respective attendance centers that are impacted, which is Brandon Elementary, Inspiration Elementary, and Robert Bennis Elementary all. So all of those all three of those buildings have some level of impact, so we're identifying those families with residences within the impacted area, and then we'll communicate to them that your designated school zone has changed, and you will be going to Berkman Valley Elementary. It's important to note that our third grade students at each of those respective buildings are allowed to remain in their current building for fourth grade. So they're not required to move. However, there is no transportation available for those respective kiddos, and that directly aligns to our not providing in-district transportation for in-district open enrolled kiddos because of all the transfer situations that occur when we cross those respective inner boundary lines. In addition to that, for those third grade kiddos, we will attempt to accommodate sibling requests to the absolute very best of our ability. That was my same line when we opened Inspiration Elementary and we had third graders that wanted to stay at Fred. The question was, are third graders going to stay, but can our kindergarten and our first grader? And the answer to that question is maybe, I hope so, we'll try our best. And that's just the way in which we've been able to manage those as we manage our respective capacities. So once we notify those families, we notify them that they are in an area and they're impacted, their attendance zone is impacted, and where they will be attending school in the fall is impacted, and then we ask them to inform us of what their respective plan is. My third grader will stay, or would like to stay, or is going to stay, or my third grader is not going to stay. We communicate those things, or whether or not there are other open enrollments involved per family. So that process will be working through that here over the course of the fall, gathering all of that respective information, and I would anticipate notifying families, December-ish probably is about the general timeline that we'll look at, and then we'll ask for responses back and go from there. Staffing process, we'll approve an administrative position, and then we'll work through that respective selection, and then ultimately what we'll have certified staff positions and classified staff positions opened internally, and we'll process internal transfer requests, et cetera, as they come through. I anticipate it being a relatively good mix of some veteran staff as well as maybe some new staff, just with the way that all of those dominoes will fall. FY25 audit, just want to note that the audit took place September 16th through the 17th. when I conducted the exit interview with our respective auditor. The quote that I would utilize was, "A good, clean audit. Paul, Jim, and Mary do an excellent job," which we most certainly concur with, and appreciate all that they do in respect to our finances. The actual audit report may be a little bit delayed. They're awaiting some federal guidance. As I understand, the feds were supposed to have something out a couple months ago, and it just hasn't come out yet at this point in time. But they anticipate it here in the next little bit. And once they have that, they said they'll be ready to go, and it'll be finalized. In addition to that, Mr. Lundberg shared with me that our annual report with South Dakota DOE has been filed and accepted. So appreciate his work on that annual task as well. South Dakota Public Report Card, that appeals window was open, and we worked through that. They were due on September 15th. And then the Department of Education has indicated that October 24th will be the public release of that respective data. And then you guys can expect to see a State of the Schools address with that respective information in it in the month of November. Enrollment ticked down just a smidgen, about 10 fewer than we were a couple of weeks ago. As we talked about, there's some movement in and out. But we do have just over 5,200 kiddos with a junior kindergarten through 12th grade enrollment of 5,213. You can see the breakdown there respectively for your review. And then I would just note that that's 82 additional kiddos based on last year's number. So that would be just a smidgen higher than what our projection was. So from a budgetary position, that should all be good in terms of general fund. Taking a look at this academic calendar, parent-teacher conferences are coming up here in October. It's hard to believe that we're already saying October as quickly as it all goes, but October 6th, elementary and high school parent-teacher conferences, October 7th, intermediate and middle school parent-teacher conferences. There is no school on Friday, October 10th for our comp day, and then October 13th is Native American Day. We utilize that as in-service. Our families take that as a 4-day weekend. You can see the end of first quarter, and then there is no school on November 11th as we celebrate Veterans Day and honor Veterans Day. Next year's academic calendar, in the process of creating that and working through that development process. That'll go before the Administrative Council, the Teacher Liaison Council, and the Classified Council prior to running up the flagpole to you guys. Tentatively, I would suggest we utilize past practice, and we'll be looking at an initial presentation at our first meeting in January and adoption at our second meeting. It will be consistent and corresponding. Most certainly will build off of the current calendar and some of those things that we like with, Thanksgiving, Wednesday off, Friday before President's Day off. Those types of things will most certainly be consistent. Looking at how it rolls back 1 week with a start date of August 26th instead of August 19th, and how that fits with Memorial Day. So playing with all of that right now, and would like to try and be that week of August 26th. So we'll work through that process with those respective groups and bring forward a recommendation for a calendar here in January. And then the last item that I had is President Ullum and Vice President Odie and I are going to be doing some small group work regarding the election law. However, I would tell you that we are awaiting some additional guidance and interpretation on a number of things, ultimately waiting on the Secretary of State election calendar. There are some professional organizations of ours involved in terms of trying to interpret some of the specific details associated with this, but we'll work together collectively as an executive team and bring forward a recommendation here in the near future once some of that additional guidance is received. With that, Madam Chair, would certainly entertain any questions you have.
All right, hearing no questions, we thank you very much. Board policy, none this evening, takes us to general business. Item number 1, to approve the Brandon Valley School District elementary boundaries effective the 2026-2027 school year.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As previously shared, these respective boundaries were, proposed boundaries were shared with the board earlier this respective year. Berkman Valley Elementary, you can see the respective zone that makes up. What I would mostly draw your attention to is Highway 11, as that serves as the east-west boundary for RBE versus Berkman Valley Elementary. It does jog over and basically runs up the golf courses on the east side of Brandon, so it doesn't impact residents. Also, the other item that I would note is if you look down here on our when we originally talked about this, we took the inspiration boundary basically all the way west to east on the south quarter of our district along here. Well, with that bridge issue that we're going to have, and it will cause multiple years of issue, we basically have captured that bottom quarter that is east of that bridge for the most part, and are bringing them all the way up to Berkman Valley Elementary because they'll have access to get north as opposed to not getting back to the west. Madam Chair, there may be a tweak, or if we discover something as we are assembling our numbers and our data with our enrollment, but at this point in time, I think it's a good, sound, long-lasting boundary line that can serve us into the future.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Larson on that? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the Brandon Valley School District elementary boundaries for the 2026-27 school year as presented.
So moved. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Under consent approval, I would entertain a motion to approve that as presented, please.
So moved.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Personnel, I would entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 8, please.
So moved.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Communication, I'm not seeing anything under that this evening. There is one travel report. Does anyone have a formal board report they would like to share this evening?
The Safety Committee met on Wednesday, the 17th, in the room here, and had a great meeting. The first of the year. Officer Sarda, SRO, here at the high school, gave his report, and first off, he's like, this last summer was excellent. The kids obeyed, so to say. The curfew law is a lot better. He said this summer was a lot smoother. School year, the school zones have been great. The addition to the crosswalks here at the high school for the kids coming over from the middle school, he has noticed, the teachers have noticed, the kids have noticed, it's a lot smoother, safer, and that's obviously our overall goal. Practicing the drills at the different schools have been conducted with the constructions that we are having. That means even more important to run those drills, knowing the construction zones and the hallways either closed or open. So those have ran smoothly, successfully. The PSA, through the Sioux Falls schools, we've decided to kind of not collaborate, but join their wording, so our wording's not different from theirs. The PSA, the public safety announcements, sorry, maybe that's the difference, my bad. The district manual update, we've updated to collaborate with them. The PSA, the service announcements, in the past, we've only done one that seems to be a lot of information all at once. And whether that's in the summer, we talk about winter coats. We've kind of decided to do 3 different announcements. So it's not so much information all at once, but more in those seasons. The middle school construction, the additional parking, the pickup zones have been a blessing. Should have done it long ago. Sorry, my 2 cents. Other than that, it's been good. Thank you.
So to make certain we're clear, Member Scott is referencing the language utilized for emergency drills. We have collaborated with and become consistent with the Sioux Falls School District. And part of the reason for that was Sioux Falls PD changed some verbiage, and that impacted Fred Assam and Inspiration Elementary. So we have basically in the Brandon Valley School District, when we consider what type of verbiage or language we want to use, and that is secure rooms, shelter in place, and lockdown. They are consistent within all of our buildings, and all of our respective law enforcement agencies are using the same terminology in all of our buildings. So it's a situation where we kind of needed to make a consistent change, if that makes sense. So all of those emergency manuals have been updated, and we're squared away on verbiage associated with safety drills.
Thank you for that clarification. Did Officer Sarda give any kind of update on vaping and the use?
I don't believe he gave the exact update with that. I know in prior meetings, he has said, obviously vaping is a continual concern. It's hard because the bathrooms are the magnet for those, and how do we stop that? So obviously we keep our teachers at a high alert and hope that our kids become smarter.
I appreciate that. I also just wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to bringing in Emily's Hope for the homecoming speaker. Very powerful, very well received. Heard from many parents that they were thankful that that was the message that their kiddos got. So thank you for that.
Alternative ed, Teach Well, we're off to a busy season or a busy start to the school year. Things are going well, and then I don't think we have a Child Nutrition Wellness Committee meeting until October. Anyone have any other meetings? All right. And oops, I think I already skipped ahead and said we had a travel report. So that takes us to the end of our scheduled meeting. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming.